Welcome back to Tony's Cool Tools. If it's your first time, thanks for stopping. Today I'm going to show an unbelievable tool that not only saves your back, but also gives you more power. Sorry for the background noise, but I'm at locations by my daughter, and there's a highway right behind us. Today we're going to be talking about the Power Stroke Pruning Stick by Fiskars. And as far as the Power Stroke goes, no, we're not talking about the Ford Power Stroke diesel engine. However, both of them generate power, and we'll be showing you how. Now, the pruning stick is a unisex tool. It's good for women, men, and senior citizens, regardless of the age. And ladies, this tool will give you more power. I'll show you how. And for you seniors, you can use it as a walking stick. And the best part is, you don't have to bend down on your knees to start cutting or pruning. We'll give you demonstrations on how beneficial this tool is. Now, the pruning stick will make it easier, faster, and safer for you to do this task. You don't have to use a ladder, and it saves you time when you're pruning trees, shrub branches, and those prickly rose bushes or raspberry canes. And if you stick around to the end, we're going to show you how we feed our reptiles on this property. You won't believe it. All right, I know you're asking, what the heck am I doing out in the middle of January talking about pruning? And the reason for that is January and February are probably some of the best months to prune your fruit trees or your nut trees. And what I'm talking about is these suckers here, all of these little things. They take away from the tree, they zap the nutrients from it. Another benefit for pruning in the wintertime is you don't have the leaves, so you can see the tree. So you take all these suckers out here as well as some of the branches that might be dead. And the benefit for that is a bumper crop. Let me show you. This is from our last year. And that's because we pruned the trees heavily. And check out my video, Liquid Gold, from last year. It has all the details of us processing the apples into apple cider and applesauce. Here's an example of my pruning arsenal. The primary ones that I did, I used the standard pruning shear. These are called bypass, and I'll show you why in just a moment. After the pruners, I went with the loppers. These can cut up to about 1.25 inches, just under 1.5 inches. What most people do is anything they can jam in there, they will try to cut it. After I finished with the loppers, anything larger than that, I went with a handsaw. And for those of you who watch Chris in the Woodyard, his most favorite tool is the bow saw, by far. He'll do everything with this. And yes, I have used this. It is nice, but as you can tell from the teeth, it's very, very aggressive. And naturally, we had to use a ladder. And that's where it doesn't get too safe to start pruning in the snow or on the ice using a ladder. As I mentioned, the pruning stick uses a bypass type of mechanism. And it's similar to this. And what it is very similar to your scissors. This is great for green or live wood. Now, there is another type of pruner out there, and it's called the Anvil pruner. And the difference on these is it actually has a stationary bar right there, and the blade cuts down onto the anvil. This is great for dead wood. And as you can see, it doesn't do more than 1/2 inch, 3/4 at best, but you won't have the power to pull on this. Okay, in full transparency, I am not sponsored by Fiskars. And for those of you who follow my channel, you know that I was a former sales manager for the Fiskars Corporation and for Bosch Power Tools. So naturally, I have a lot of tools and samples. One of the things in sales and marketing is you could have the greatest tool out there, but until somebody knows what it does, it's useless. Perfect example, the pruning stick here. If you saw it on the shelf at your retailer and it was just sitting there, yes, you might get an idea it has something to do with pruning, but you would have no idea how great this tool is. And today we're going to show you why it's such a great tool. The tool only weighs 2 pounds, extremely light, and it's made of aluminum. The overall length is 62 inches. As I mentioned, it uses the bypass design for cutting. There is a low friction coating. We can't call it Teflon now, but there is a low friction coating on this which allows you to cut branches up to 1¼ inches thick. That's pretty doggone big. Now here's something cool. An adjustable head rotates down or up 230 degrees you have to play with. So you could get anywhere with these, even in tight spaces. Now remember this ball, I'll demonstrate it in a moment. And lastly, the pruning stick uses a ropeless design. What I mean by that is, even though both of these use the same bypass pruning, this one you have to use the rope. And there's a lot of it, so you can get tangled up in the branches. And as you can see, the head on this is pretty doggone big as compared to this. And in a moment, you'll see how beneficial this is. And for those of you in California, yes, it does have a Prop 65 statement. And naturally, like Fiskars, one of the most important thing is it comes with a lifetime guarantee. And you're probably wondering the cost of this tool. Right under $50. And yes, the pruning stick has a big brother. Same exact features as the small version, except this one is telescoping in that it can go from 7 feet 9 to 12 feet by just extending this. And it also comes with this 15-inch wood zig blade, very aggressive on the teeth. So now you can extend your reach to about 17 feet if you're on the ground utilizing this tool. When I mentioned the ropeless design, as you can see here, there are no ropes on this thing. But the way it works is, if you take this handle and pull it down, it cuts the branch right there. And I pointed out this ball in the past, and the purpose for that is, for the vertically challenged people out there, I can reach up high and take this and pull it down and make my cut. So now I can extend my reach all the way up, and just by pulling that, I can cut it. In the past, I'd use my pruners and I'd come in here and I'd make the cut. But I'm using a lot of force right here. Here is the ease of the power pruner. One at a time or all three. And no fatigue on the hand because all I'm using is this. Just a few minutes of cutting the suckers off. As I pointed out about the chain, it is a gear-driven chain, so it's a forced multiplier. What that means in layman's term is I don't have to apply that much force, and it makes it easier to cut. Just like that. So as you can see, I can cut this, and I'm cutting my, no pun intended, I'm cutting my time in half or more. And if I want to go high, I come up here. If I want to go even higher, like if I wanted to do this branch here, I just bring it up. And here's the benefit of the rotating head. By opening it up, I can change this or the location. Now I can get in close at the bottoms here and cut the prickly raspberry canes without having to get close. And for you hunters out there, those pesky limbs that you have to trim off before you can shoot, you can just get very close and cut them. Now you have clear shooting lanes. I hope I showed you the benefits of the pruning stick. It is an awesome tool. Saves you a bunch of time in your pruning applications, whether it's summer, fall, or winter. And I pointed out all the applications of whether you have an orchard, a garden, or whether you're a hunter. This tool is beneficial to you. Well, I told you earlier, if you stuck around, I was going to show you how we feed our animals here on the property. When they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, Check this out. Well, I hope you found this informative, and if so, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, pass it forward, make the world a better place. And don't be a tool, watch Tony's Cool Tools.